Hello, my name is Sarah and this is my first video. There's nothing better than starting out with a book haul of all the books that came into my home in June, and there were a lot of them. This is probably the most books that I've ever had come into my home in 1 month for various reasons. So let me start. I am going to start out with the books that came in the book boxes that I got this month. The first one that I received was from Owl Crate, and that, as you know, if you've been watching YouTube videos for any length of time, was My Lady Jane. And this is like an alternate historical fiction book. I hear it's very, very funny, which I love in my books. I love humor. So I want to get to this sooner rather than later. It's like higher up on my TBR than some of these other ones. So that's that. The second book came from Bookly Box. I really like this subscription because it donates books to children in need for every box that you order. And it comes with tea, which is also another bonus. So the book that came this month was Hunter Huntress by Darcy Scott. This is, I think it's just a fiction book, but it seems to be a bit on the darker side looking at the cover, which I find very interesting to come in a box that's in summertime, but whatever. I'm up for reading anything. So that's that. The next book that I got was my book of the month, and I got Enchanted Islands, and this is by Alison Amend. And this, I think it might have been a cover by, but I, again, do like historical fiction sorts of novels. So next book came from Lit Cube, and that is Evergreen Falls by Kimberly Freeman. I haven't read anything else by this author, but this looks very good. It's a historical mystery novel. I love mysteries as well. Lighter mysteries, not really dark ones. Dark is not my thing, but this looks good too. So I'm gonna try that out. And then in the Best Damn book box came this monstrosity, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. There's a whole story about this. I was not going to read these books, and I am not very good at guessing what is coming in the book boxes. So this came, and so now I'm going to have to read it. So you'll see in the rest of my book haul that, you know, I had to get the first book too because I don't have it. So I'm kind of excited to read it. I haven't actually read any Sarah J. Maas before, so there's that. The next couple books I received from, let's see, mostly YA Lit, and I won these as part of the Dewey's 24-hour readathon, which was the first readathon I've ever participated in. So she was kind enough to send me these ARCs, and I don't really know anything about this first one. The Way Back to You by Michelle Andriani and Mindy Scott. When I read the back, it looked interesting, but most books are interesting to me. I love to read, so, you know, it's going to be interesting. And this is a YA book. And the second book that she sent was Asking for It by Louise O'Neill. And I know that many people have said many mixed things about this, but I'm interested to see how I like it. So thank you very much for sending these to me. I'm gonna really enjoy them. The next three books that I got, I purchased from Barnes & Noble during their B-Fest. That was at the beginning of last month, I believe. I can't remember the exact date. But at our local Barnes & Noble, we had 3 authors, 2 had books out, and 1 did a book talk. So I purchased Touching the Surface by Kimberly Sabatini. She was a very sweet woman. I am very much looking forward to reading this. Purple is its beautiful cover, and it is a YA fantasy type novel. And of course, you know, it's all made out to me. I was the only adult there, so it was, you know, I was kind of a spectacle. Whatever. So that one, looking forward to that. And the author that did all of the book talks and whatnot was Emmy Laybourne. She wrote Monument 14. So I bought her other book, Sweet. Now she writes dark books, so you have to really be in the mood, or if you really like dark novels, then you know, this will be fine for you. But I find that, you know, I have to be in the right mood to read this. And actually summer might be a good time. I think this book is set on a cruise. So right up my alley. And of course this one was signed to me as well. She was very nice as well. I liked her. So there's that. And while I was there, I decided to pick up The Long Game, which is the second in the Fixer series. I loved The Fixer last year. It was a 5-star book for me. It just hit all the right spots. So I'm definitely looking forward to reading this next installment to see where it goes. The next group of books that came in the mail were from Rock Paper Books. I funded their Kickstarter last year, and they sent out the books that we all chose as our rewards for funding that Kickstarter. They take classics and they have artists make beautiful covers for them. So if you're a cover person, I highly recommend you go and look at them. But the first one with a beautiful cover is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. I just finished The Three Musketeers last month and I really did like it. It had its moments, as all books of a chunky variety do. But this one is one that I'd like to probably get to next year. I think I'm kind of big booked out for now. But look at how beautiful this is. I had to have this one. Yes. The next one that I got was Beowulf cover. The artists do a really beautiful job, I think. I really liked these. And then Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. And then we have the next one, The Iliad. And of course, to go with The Iliad, The Odyssey. Now, I've already read The Iliad and The Odyssey, and I think Beowulf I read in school. I got these more for my daughter to read. I homeschool her, so these will be coming up. She's young now, but these will get read at some point, and we will probably both read Journey of the Center of the Earth together. And we haven't read that yet, so it's on our list. I need a sip of tea. The next group of books I bought when I went down for my ballroom dance lessons in New York City. I go twice a month. So sometimes I go to the Strand when I'm feeling particularly adventurous. And this month I went and filled out some of my series on the shelf. These are all middle grade books. I tend to buy middle grade books from there, and I tend to buy the hardbacks because they will go through multiple people and like the whole family will read them. So I find they're a bit more durable that way. So the first one to fill out this series that I have not started yet is Ink Death for the Inkheart trilogy by Cornelia Funk. We did read one of her other dragon books. I think it was a standalone, and I can't remember the name of it, and it was a really good book. Everyone liked it. My grandparents loved it. Everyone loved it. So this is, you know, we'll get to this at some point. The next 3 books are part of a series that it started with. The name of this book is Secret. I'm not sure if it has a different series name than that. At this point, we only are missing, I believe, the 3rd book we're missing. So we have This Book Is Not Good For You. We have This Isn't What It Looks Like. Is it shiny? And You Have to Stop This, all by Pseudonymous Bosch. And I want to say Pseudomonas, and that is a bad thing because I'm a nurse and Pseudomonas we don't want. So Pseudonymous. Gotta be careful when you're trying to be clever because people like me can mess that up and it becomes a bad thing. So be careful. The next group of books I bought from Barnes & Noble with the rebate through Apple. I thought I was only going to get like $2 and it was like $90. So I bought some books because, you know, it's not money in my pocket. Might as well buy books. So here we go. The first one, hardcover, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Since I now have to read this, I figure I might as well read it in a pretty cover. And it's funny, now that I have it in my hands, I'm kind of really, I want to get to it now. Now that I've touched it. You bond sometimes. Beautiful. I love it. Ugh. Okay. The second one is another YA, The Forbidden Orchid. This is another historical mystery sort of book. I don't think there's any romance. Let me look at the back. I don't think so. And it's about orchids, which I love. So I'm immediately intrigued by a book about orchids. I cannot grow them. They always die. I have them like right over here are my dying orchids. So anyway, here's that. The next one I bought just because of the hype and everything was on sale and I had the rebate. Ivory and Bone by Julia Eschbog. After that, these are adult books now. I bought Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh. I've had this on my TBR for a while now. I think it only came out this year, but somehow it was on my radar earlier than that. And it's written in, like, you see how it is. Comic book style, and it's supposed to be very funny, and I figure this will be quick and fun to read. So I bought that. Plus the drawings are good. They're amusing too. The next one, I believe, is some form of chick lit book. It looked good though. So 800 Grapes by Laura Dave. I haven't read anything else by her, but I read the blurb. It looked good, and it was buy two, get one free. So it's essentially free, and plus it was the rebate, so it was like doubly free. So I'll read it, and it's short, so that's good. The next one was not a cover by, per se. It was a word by. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. I take ballroom dance lessons, and I am a sucker for any book that has a dance name in it, even though I know this book is nothing about dancing. It was on the bargain bookshelf section, and I caved because I'm weak. So I will read this and maybe review some of these books that have names of dances on them but are not about dancing. So there's that. The next one I have is a nonfiction book. I do read nonfiction occasionally, but this really seemed like something that not just me but the rest of the family would enjoy. I buy books that everyone likes. So it's called The Girls of Atomic City, The Untold Stories of the Women Who Helped Win World War II by Denise Kiernan. And there's the cover of this, and this book is about exactly what the title says. And there's pictures in it, and I think it's I like reading about strong women, so this seems like a good book for that. And the last book. This was for my daughter. I have not started this series yet. My daughter and my grandmother love this series. They rushed this book. My daughter already read it. And this is the startup of a new series based in the same world. So we have Wings of Fire Legends Darkstalker. My daughter is Wings of Fire trash. Okay. She is ridiculous with it. And my grandmother is no better. So again, I have to get on those books because she has been nagging me to read them for a very long time, and there are so many books to read. How do you choose what to read? I can't even make a decision. So if you like dragons and you have not read this series, you need to get on it because my daughter said so. Go read it. And that is the end of my book haul. Hopefully this wasn't too bad for a first video and that you all got through it, and I will be around doing more videos. So have a lovely day. Bye.